Monkhead is an ethnic minority and female-led theatre company that adapts classic literature and turns it into experimental productions. Their most recent play was written in the 19th century by Nikolai Gogol and is called Dead Souls. It tells the story of a Russian man who captures and trades dead souls. To tell us more, the director Nico Pimparé and actor Toby Osmond join me now. Thank you very much indeed to both of you for coming in. So this promises to be funny, but it also has its dark moments, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's an adaptation of a book that was written 150 years ago. I think people often think that Russian literature is quite pompous and intellectual and dreary, but we chose this book because
it's great fun.
It's great fun. There's loads of electric dialogue, loads of comedy, loads of humor, but at its heart, it's still it's very dark. And I like it particularly because it's a satire of capitalism and has a lot of interesting sort of political themes that I think are very relevant to now.
Toby is one of the actors. How do you bring that to life?
Well, I'm kind of playing the clown of the piece. I'm a sort of alcoholic, gambling aristocrat, which is great fun. So he's probably the most lively character, although all of the characters are kind of dead in their own way. It's part of the overarching theme of death that Gogol's talking about. But yeah, just bring a bit of life and energy to it, bring a smile to the audience.
Because there's only two other cast members aside from yourself, so it's quite an intimate setting, I imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. It's about Chichikov, who's played by Josh. What's his surname?
Josh Jacob.
Josh Jacob, there we go.
Chichikov is the main character whose quest is to go around Russia buying dead peasants. And we won't tell you why he does it right now. We'll keep that a secret.
And I'm one of the landowners that he wants to buy dead peasants from.
Talk us through the selection process. I mean, where do you even start when it comes to picking 19th century, 20th century plays and books and literature and turning them into something that resonates with a 21st century audience?
Yeah, well, it's a good question, actually, because I first read this book 4 years ago after being introduced to Gogol and gave it to the writer, Chloe Meyerson, at the time. It took her about 3 years to actually read the damn thing and get back to me and say, actually, you know what, this is a great book and I'd like to adapt it for theatre and I'd love you to direct it. And I think the reason we chose this, we both like Russian literature a lot, but the reason we chose this is that it feels really modern and it feels, quite experimental at its heart and something that we can bring to stage now and that people will sort of still be surprised by.
Because I imagine some people might hear the phrase Russian literature and they think, God, that's so inaccessible. It's quite elitist. It's very specific.
But we've hopefully made it very fun. I mean, we have live video, we have experimental sound devices on stage that the actors actually play with. We have the actors go. So it's the theatre is above a pub. We have the actors actually go down into the pub and talk to members of pub goers.
I think it's very accessible. And the comedy as well, it works on so many different levels. It works for like intellectual Russian literature critiques, but it also works for, people like me.
I was going to say, if you're going there to watch it and perhaps you're not au fait with the ins and outs of Russian literature, you're not going to sit there baffled thinking,
absolutely not. Absolutely not. No, I'm very lucky we're very lucky to work with a very, very talented writer, Chloe, who's really adapted it superbly and made it completely transparent for a modern audience, but has kept the sort of, the beautiful prose and the beautiful intellectual ideas of the book while sort of making it alive, putting it on stage.
We are almost out of time. If people do want to go and see it, where can they do so?
It's at Theatre N16, which is not at all in N16, which is in South London.
Deceptively named.
Deceptively, yeah. Just by the Balham Tube on the Northern Line. It's next week from Tuesday to Saturday at 7:15 p.m.
Thank you so much to both of you, Nico and Toby, for coming in.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're watching London Live News. Do stay